Alright, hey, hi, hello. How's it going, guys? My name is ZetaRayZod, and welcome back to another Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Now, before I begin, be sure to like, subscribe, and get that bell on to stay up to date on all my latest videos. So, last we left off, we kind of managed to convince the jury to kind of like, we kind of conflicted them, so some of them are kind of voting not guilty right now, so we can continue with the trial. And Van Zeke's kind of invited a couple more witnesses to come in, basically they're like husband and wife. And we went through the testimony, and I think I spotted something suspicious that we can point out, so I guess this is what we're gonna do now. So let's get to it. What do you think, Miss Naruhodo? Well, I hate to admit it, but on hearing the testimony, it really does seem as though Mr. and Mrs. Beat saw what they say. Wait, didn't I already see this? Yeah, I feel the same. Wait, so that's true as a leaf exactly. Oh, wait. Okay, wait, I'm supposed to go back. Yep. Okay. Yep. The book part. Not that one. Yeah, there you go. Present. Igiari. Because she said there were 4 books on the floor, when in fact, Natsume-san only bought 3. So, you're saying that there were 4 books? That's right, I remember all of them. The picture of Monsieur Somebody, What's It Yearnings, A Meal for Someone, and the Tingami Thing. Something. I'm sorry, Mrs. B. But there is a fundamental flaw in that statement of yours. Oh no, what flaw? Simply that, at the scene of the crime, there were only 3 books, not 4. What? This is the receipt from the bookshop where the defendant bought his books. Your books? Yes, and it details Mr. Natsume's purchases that day. But, as you can see, only 3 books are listed. Only 3? But, no, that can't be. I remember seeing them. There are 4 books, I tell you. 4 dirty old books. Oh, really? Have a good look at this photographic print of the scene of the crime. As you can clearly see from this evidence as well, there are only 3 books. But I just don't believe it. I saw them there, I swear it. I saw them. No, madam, I'm afraid your powers of observation cannot be relied upon. So it cannot be denied that though you see it was the defendant you saw, you could very well be mistaken. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! No! What now? It's plainly evident that it is your powers of deduction that cannot be relied upon, my learned Nipponese friend. What? What cannot be denied is that these 2 witnesses saw the accused running from the scene, a fact that you know very well you have no hope of disproving. So you've striven to avert attention from that by dint of some inconsequential discrepancies. Would that be fair? He sees right through me. But your plan has somewhat recoiled against you. What are you talking about? It's quite simple. Let me explain with a toast. The policeman's wife and her entirely accurate testimony in every respect. Oh. You see, the matter is not up for debate. At the scene on Briar Road, a total of 4 books were most definitely found. But what about the photographic print? It only shows 3 books. Quite right. Only 3 can be seen in that print. That print? You mean to say... That poor lamb is just like, getting hit all the time. Allow me to present another. One that shows the victim's hands. The lion's pride. That sounds familiar. This is something new, Mr. Garrett. Because he did mention something about this book. I just can't remember what. I think he wanted to get this book, but it was taken already or something like that. It's the fourth book. As you will observe, the fourth book was hidden from view in the original print by the victim's torso. No. No! Critical hit. Order! Order! There, you see? You see? Look at that. Look, look, look. Yeah. It's just like I said, isn't it, my darling? Yes, sir? Patricia's always right, sir. Let us study the receipt for the books purchased by the accused on the day in question. Mrs. B, titles once again, if you please. Oh, yes, of course. Picture of Monsieur somebody or other. Picture of Monsieur Lecoq. What's it, yearnings? Canterbury yearnings. A meal for someone. A meal for Gabrielle, in fact. As the court has just heard, the witness remembers the book titles flawlessly, save for a few minor details. Mrs. B's powers of recollection can only be described as exceptional. Did you hear that, Rolly? The gentleman paid me a compliment. Yes, sir? Flawless, sir. Patricia's flawless. But there are only 3 books in the receipt. Mrs. B mentioned 4. Well, the lady had the 4th book. Naruhodo, come on. There's nothing surprising about that. Clearly, the 4th book is that which is shown in this photographic print. I'm sorry, counsel, but does that not seem odd? Why should the 4th book be omitted from the receipt? It's not odd at all, my lord. The judge is a numbskull as well, as the photograph clearly shows the 4th book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, it belongs to the victim. The victim was holding her own book? I wonder, what became of that 4th book? Obviously, it wasn't overlooked by the investigating officers at Scotland Yard. I have it here as evidence. You will submit that and then the aforementioned photographic print to the court, please, counsel? My pleasure, my lord. Second crime scene photograph? Okay. Excusez-moi. The Lion's Pride. That's the book Mr. Garrett likes. Oh, look. It's burned. From the fire, Mr. Garrett's place. Oh, look at this. The book has been badly burnt. Right. You'll never be able to read it in this state, especially not the latter pages. What a terrible waste. Judging from the scorched edges of the paper, I think the damage must have occurred very recently. A book recently damaged by fire? Why does that seem to raise a red flag for me? Ah, it's Mr. Garrett. Did she steal it? Olive green. The prosecution rests. I have nothing further to add. What? You seem surprised, my learned friend. But your resistance until now has been in vain. Entertaining, yes, but futile. The spurious longer route to the accused lodgings that you tried to establish in submission examination and the attempted discrediting of the witness's powers or recollection in your cross-examination. Futile? I walked right into this, didn't I? You see, everything we said is true. Isn't that right, my darling? Yes, Pat. Marry me, Pat. So perhaps the ladies and gentlemen of the jury would like to reconsider their positions? Should the court waste any more time on this Nipponese travesty? Or is the decision you have to make all too apparent already? You have heard all of the witnesses and seen all of the evidence. This trial has run its course. Mr. Naruhodo, I'm afraid we're... I just remembered something. But it's not here. Oh well. I don't think it's related. Never mind. Afraid we're in a terribly precarious position. I'm wondering about that love note that we found in Mr. Garrett's place. I wonder if that's from Olive Green or something. I know, but if I fight back the wrong way now, it could very well just make matters worse. Think, realistically. Think, what do you do now? I don't think there's an objection. Do it! Raise an objection! Ah! I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't know. I'm not done yet. No, my learned friend, it's over. The last cross-examination was your final chance to establish a credible defense, and you failed. The die has been cast. There's no more room for debate. Well, it might be over as far as you're concerned, but I can't think of what to say.
If I may, Lord Vanzies, it seems somewhat worse to close down the debate at this point.
Your insignificant little Eastern Isle must be a lawless hole indeed. Wow. For a lowly judicial assistant to have the audacity to intervene at a moment like this.
Oh.
I am, to my shame, still a very inexperienced lawyer. So you will have to forgive me, but I consider my assistant's advice essential and her opinions invaluable.
Miss Naruhodo.
One of this land's great guiding principles is tolerance, so the court will hear you, madam. Go ahead, Mrs. Sato. Please. Please! Please! I have nothing! Very well. Pray, what insight can you give us? What have we all overlooked in this matter that you see fit to pursue further?
I don't know. Well, the court has been presented with new evidence, but only after the last cross-examination finished.
I see. And you believe that this new evidence warrants further examination, do you?
Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think? It's just possible that this new evidence might be the decisive proof we've been waiting for. The judge is sure to ask the members of the jury to announce their leanings in a moment. And of course, he's sure to ask you to explain what the crucial piece of evidence is and why. So you must take this opportunity to examine the newly presented evidence as thoroughly as possible.
Yes, I understand. And thank you, Mrs. Sato. This is it. Sato-san has managed to win us one last chance here. I can't let it go to waste. The defense wishes to present evidence, my lord.
Very well. The defense may present one further piece of evidence. Evidence that apparently offers a profound insight into this case and has hitherto been unlooked.
The book! It's gotta be the book. Evidence in question is what we can see from the newly presented photographic print of the crime scene. Wait, did I do the book? I did the book. The fourth book found in the victim's hand. We have already discussed the fourth book at length. Other than it being in the victim's grasp at the time of the incident, no significance has been attached to it. Pursuing the matter further would be a flagrant waste of the court's time, as you well know.
Yes, I'm afraid, counsel, I must concur with the prosecution in this matter. When I afforded you this opportunity, you led the court to believe that the evidence in question contained a hitherto undiscovered clue. So I must insist that you elaborate, counsel. You will identify this clue at once. Do I make myself clear?
Oh, yes, my lord. It's,
Mr. Naruhodo, I believe the prosecution is trying to avoid a thorough examination of the evidence. Which means you may very well be on the right track.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
It's the bird.
So, counsel? Precisely where is this vital clue on this case which this fourth book conceals? Over here! Kokora! I would ask the court to observe the back of the book in question. The back? What do you... Good gracious! It's been burnt to a crisp! So we have to ask ourselves, why was the victim clutching what is clearly an unreadable book? It's undeniably an extremely unnatural thing for her to have been doing. That's it? Jury number 4, talk to her. Unnatural, you say? And what of it, my Nipponese friend? Oh. Were I to concede the point and it bears no relation to the case, there is nothing to discuss. So, should you wish to assert that this fire damages some veiled clues to what happened that day, pray do enlighten us all. What truth does this charred book hide? Charred book. There's just one possibility here, which I can't quite bring myself to rule out. It's an outside chance, certainly, but worth a try. Alright, I'll explain my theory.
Don't keep us waiting any longer then, counsel. What are you suggesting that you can ascertain from the fire damage the Saritome suffered?
Its owner! My lord, the burn on the back of this book reveals a startling truth about the book's owner.
I beg your pardon?
But we already know who the book belongs to. The victim was gripping it in her hand and she fell to the floor after all. It's obviously hers. The question of how this book came to be in the victim's hand has yet to be answered. However, as to the questions of who the book really belongs to and where it originated, the defense has very credible answers.
Good gracious! How can you possibly...
Very well. I'll play along with this futile attempt to delay your inevitable demise. But do remember, the members of the jury may well burn you if your little gamble goes awry.
Counsel, the defense's response here is very likely to influence the final outcome of this trial. So tell the court, who do you claim is the owner of this burnt book?
John Garnett. The answer is that the book belongs to the couple who own the house where the defendant has his lodgings. A certain Mr. and Mrs. Garrett. The landlords. And whether this is some extraordinary coincidence or some kind of fate at work, I don't know, but of all the people in London, one of the 6 chosen for jury duty in this courtroom today is none other than Mrs. Garrett herself.
Oh my goodness! Me? I think you must be mistaken, sir. I'm not Mr. Garrett's wife. I'm his maid.
Things would be so much easier if you just dropped the pretense. Alright then, how about a simple question for you? Have you ever seen this book in Mr. Garrett's house?
I would never presume to know all of the books he keeps.
This is outlandish behavior. This woman is the accused's landlady, you say? You implicate this hardworking member of the public. You besmirch her without a shred of evidence. Your actions are unforgivable. This is not a mere conjecture. The defense happens to know that on the day in question, at almost exactly the same time as the victim was stabbed on the pavement below, another incident was taking place in the room on the top floor of Mr. and Mrs. Garrett's house.
Good lord! What sort of incident, counsel?
A fire, my lord.
Afraid to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bully thing. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The bully furniture started going up as well. Worst of it is, I lost my favorite book called The Lion's Pride.
Lion's Pride.
By Jove, the very same title that's the subject of this debate. Oh dear me!
This is risible. All you've told the court is that a book by the same name was involved in a fire, in which case it would be reasonable to assume that it was burnt to ashes. And entirely unreasonable to infer that it magically removed itself to the scene of the crime. Perhaps it would make more sense if I told you that the cause of the fire was marital discord. Damn, Naruhodo, that's like private, man. Shouldn't say that stuff. Without going into details, it appears that Mrs. Garrett was considerably enraged. Apparently, she continued to attack Mr. Garrett even amid the flames. Oh, how awful! I can't even imagine being so horrid to the one you love. Can you, Rolly? Absolutely not, sir. My Patricia would never raise a finger against me, sir.
Had all my favorite old novels in that case. But as soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh! Up in smoke. And the wife started hurling things at me. That was I, back up against the window, on the heavy enemy fire. Incendiary books incoming 10 to the dozen. Oh! To fly out the window. The man had his back up against the window, and he had burning books thrown at him? Goodness gracious! Are you suggesting that the book was thrown through a window and landed coincidentally at the scene of the crime?
No, a thorough investigation of the surrounding area was conducted the very evening of the incident. There's no report of the Garrett's window pane being broken. Maybe because it's open. It's quite true. We also saw no sign of broken glass when we visited the Garrett household. But is it not conceivable that the window was open at the time and not even remotely? Let's not forget the season and the chilling weather that accompanies it. No Londoner would ever leave a window open in the middle of winter.
Does the defense postulate this scenario in all seriousness, counsel? Do you honestly claim that the book found at the scene was a flaming projectile thrown by Mr. Gerard's wife?
I believe it's a possibility, my lord. That's quite enough. It's the wife. Yep.
Well, I hope that everyone can see you for what you are now, you little foreign trickster. You call yourself a lawyer, but you're just a coward. A mean coward.
Really?
Claiming that our little tips set the whole neighborhood alight, honestly. Implying that I'm merely posing as a maid for appearance sake. How could you? It's nothing to do with this beastly case, not any of it. All you've done is sully our family's name.
No, I assure you that was never my intention.
Dragging an upstanding citizen's name through the mud simply to divert attention from your failing defense. I should box your ears, that's what I should do. It's utterly unforgivable. But you're right.
Here we go.
How long have we sat here now, listening to this Nipponese spouting out his fancy foreign theories? But think about it. At the end of the day, the only person who could have possibly have stabbed the victim is that little hunchback with the mustache. And you ran away from the scene, too.
I do declare you're right. It's true.
Yes, what did I tell you?
Makes sense to me.
Sorry. What was that?
Well, it would appear that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are once again in full agreement. What is your position, Lord Van Zeeks?
In truth, my lord, I feel these have been unnecessary protracted proceedings. But then, one must always exercise patience in order to savor the best vintage. No, wait. The mystery of the fourth book still hasn't been... Oh boy, his leg's out. If books are your predilection, my learned friend, study them on your own time. What? No forgive the discourtesy this time?
Ahem. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will now state your individual decisions regarding the defendant's culpability for the court to hear.
Yuzai!
Yuzai!
Here we go again.
Yuzai!
Thank you for that unambiguous response.
That's twice now. It's over.
Miss Naruhodo, don't give up.
Mrs. Sato,
Have you forgotten? The battle isn't over yet.
You're not suggesting...
Of course, the defense has the right to another summation examination at this point. You can still convince the jurors to change their minds. You have one more chance.
My lord, the defense has to exercise its right to summation examination. Again! Believe you still have the tricks up your sleeve? I don't intend to trick anybody. I intend to uncover the truth. This is no time to be downcast. As long as there's a chance, I have to stay strong and determined. Here we go! To be continued. I always end it, like, at weird times. Like, I don't know how long one to be continued lasts, you know. I guess we'll find out. Here we go.
I have considered the defense's counsel's request for further summation examination of the jury, and I have determined that the court must uphold the defense's judicial right to the procedure. So, counsel, you will now proceed with your second summation examination. I presume the jury is ready, Mr. Foreman. Oops. We are, my lord. Very good. In that case, I must ask each of you now to state clearly and concisely for the court the grounds on which you find the defendant guilty of this crime. Here we go.
2. Accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his.
If there's some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider.
Even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to this crime if the window was closed, can it?
Deary me, it was only a little book, hardly love threatening, even with a jarring kid.
Oh, you think what if juror number 4 actually threw a knife out the window too? And then he's just stuck in the green lady. Is that possible? Look, I just want to get this over with. If don't bring home some pay tonight, I'll be in a tiny bit of trouble.
Come to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. Gave me some sneezes.
Yes, considerably more tangible arguments from all members of the jury this time around, it seems. With one notable exception, of course.
I learned student friend was unable to find fault in the previous witness testimony. So the court must accept the fact that he was indeed accused seen fleeing from the crime. Scene. And moreover, no one else was even at the scene to commit the crime. Oh man, if juror number 4 threw a knife, I'd be so happy.
Well, if the eyewitnesses are correct, it would seem as if the conclusion is somewhat set in stone. I fail to see how it can be argued any other way.
Ooh, maybe she bent down to pick up the book because she saw it, and then as she bent down, like a knife came out. Like juror number 4 threw a knife, and then like attack hit her in the back.
That means I'm afraid that during this submission examination, it's essential that you establish some other tangible explanation for the facts.
But how? What would even constitute a tangible explanation here? Isn't it obvious? Who stabbed the woman and how? Those 2 details are all you need to provide. Simply give us a name and a method by which the attack was conducted.
There I was thinking this might be hard. But Mr. Naruhodo, you have to do it. Otherwise this really will be where the trial ends.
No pressure then.
That's quite enough preamble. Proceed with the summation examination, please. I presume you are prepared, counsel?
Oh, yes, my lord. Alright, Ryonosuke, focus your mind now. Clearly, the key to the summation examination is going to be juror number 4. She threw the freaking knife. I gotta say, it's gotta be her.
We have a book that disappeared from the Garrett house on the evening of the incident, and the 4th book found in the victim's hand.
Must be a way to link the 2. Yeah, that's what we have to find. Using every technique I've learned in my short career so far. Whatever it takes.
Don't forget to keep an eye on Mrs. Garrett and how she reacts, even to the things other people say.
Alright.
Jury examination.
Press, press, press. Press everything. But as we now know, there were 4 books, not 3. Well, what difference does it make? There's every possibility that the 4th book, in fact, belongs to the defendant's landlord. Yes, that's the part I have a problem with. Sorry. Well, at the point the woman was stabbed, this landlord fellow was at home, wasn't he? Enjoying a fiery scrap with his wife or something, you said. That's not exactly how I put it, no. Well, anyway, the point is, the fellow and his wife were somewhere else when it happened.
I think that's what you call a strong alibi.
So it couldn't have been the landlord who did it, which only leaves the Nipponese fellow. Honestly, I can't see what all this palaver's about. It's a done deal, isn't it? I suppose it is, since I've nothing witty left to say. Witty. Witty. She threw the knife! She threw the knife! It's gotta be she threw the knife. So, you might be willing to change your decision, you mean?
Oh my, such a delight on your face, but I'm afraid I shan't be swayed by emotion. Despite what you may think of me, I am a very modern, metropolitan, and rational woman.
That's great. Naruhodo just like poker face. Okay.
If one reads the morning papers, it's all forgotten by tea time, isn't it? So I read them in the first place. You see, modern, metropolitan, and rational thinking. What did you say?
And not at all extreme.
As I see it, an overwhelmingly suspicious Japanese man has been implicated by overwhelmingly strong testimony. So, despite 1 or 2 minor puzzlements, I do declare that the man is overwhelmingly guilty. Modern, metropolitan, and rational logic, wouldn't you say?
Overwhelmingly.
But us modern gals are always delighted to embrace new fads, you know. So I'd be only too happy to consider an exciting new theory if you come up with one.
I'd be happy to do that too. If only I could.
Let's do our very best not to disappoint the modern metropolitan young lady.
Right. I'm glad you admitted rational there. How about you? But what about the possibility that the window was open? What about it? I mean, there's just no way it could have been. How can you be so sure? Prosecutor fell over there said it earlier, didn't he? Winters in London, no joke. You don't want to invite this sort of cold indoors. So no, that window wasn't open. Us Londoners like to sit by the fire and stay warm, see? But you couldn't categorically state that the window wasn't open, could you? It just wasn't. They wouldn't have opened it. Then what's the point in even having windows, huh? Counsel, you will kindly refrain from childish bickering. Oh, sorry. Why have a window if you're not going to use it? I need to show there's an undeniable possibility that the window is open. Because this young man is going to budge otherwise. Oh, you. But the little book was on fire at the time, was it not? With flames of love, I'll have you know. There's really no such thing as a loving incendiary bomb. Oh, dodged himself. Well, he brought it upon himself. He's playing with fire to betray a fiery love, isn't it? Well, don't you agree? Oh, well, any kind of betrayal is certainly a bad thing, yeah. But I think the argument might have arisen out of your misunderstanding, Mrs. Garrett. Never you mind that. The point is we were just having a jovial little dispute, nothing more. And I wouldn't have any more of these suggestions that it was anything whatsoever to do with this crime. Right, well, we'll see about that. What about juror number 5? She's dodging it. I just realized something. If I'm under the assumption that it's from Mr. Garrett's place, is there like a marking somewhere? The tip is blunt. I wonder if that's significant. Since he be turning a hair, Mr. Garrett's relentless onslaughts.
It's almost as though he's used to it. What a gentle soul he is.
Okay. You just want to get this over with? How can you sit there and say something like that? The man's future's at stake here. Well, him and me both then, like I said before. What? I told you already, I'm a day laborer, aren't I? If I don't bring home some righties with me tonight, you'll find me floating face down the Thames tomorrow morning. What? You heard me. My missus doesn't want to mess about you. She can be fierce, believe you me. Another shining example of marital bliss then. A situation like this cropped up the other day. It was, well, you know, it's funny, but I can't quite remember. Sorry? It's too frightening. That's the thing. Must have blocked it out. Helpful.
I wonder if Mr. Beat will ever be dragged into the Thames by his scarf.
Don't even go there, Mrs. Sato. There must be some way to jog his memory about this. Can't think of it yet, fire home. Does that have anything to do with your decision about the defendant's culpability in this case?
I'm sorry, what was that? You'll have to speak up, lad.
Could you tell us more about that fire?
It was last winter. My grandchildren baked me a lovely cake on my birthday. It had 75 candles on the top of it. What a sight to behold it was.
Candles on a cake? Was it some kind of devil worship? Devil worship?
Of course not, it was an angel cake. Celebrate my birthday, obviously.
It seems that's a common custom here in Great Britain, Mr. Naruhodo.
Anyway, I mustered all of my cuff to blow them out. Only I must have blown some wrong somehow. The flames didn't go out, but candles went flying all over the room. Furniture caught up and everything went up. Whole place full of smoke.
Definitely sounds like devil worship to me. And by the sneezes, I presume you mean a cold. How did you catch a cold from a fire?
Well, what a fiasco it was. The grandchildren, bless them, threw water over me as I tried to put out the flames. And then, because the whole room had filled up with smoke, of course, we had to open all the windows to clear it.
Oh,
Ooh, the windows.
The biting winter air rushed over me like devil dancing on my grave it did. Caught a terrible cold from it. Put me in hospital for a while. I will forget that birthday in a hurry.
I knew it was devil worship all along. But something about this old man's story is playing on my mind for some reason.
We need to demonstrate who, apart from Mrs. Natsume, could have attacked the young woman on the street, as well as how he or she could have done it.
Yeah, but once again, the jurors' statements are full of personal prejudice. A lot of them seem convinced they're right, even in the face of logical arguments to the contrary.
I think you're going to need to pit them against each other to force them to accept an alternative explanation.
Yeah. I don't necessarily need to find contradictions between the assertions, just a connection might do the trick. Alright, I'll see what I can do. If anything stands out, I'll go in for a strike.
That's the spirit.
Okay, I think juror number 3. There. And you. These two jurors' statements clearly contradict one another.
They do. How exactly, counsel?
Don't point at me again. I told you it wasn't me.
Huh? What's that you say? Speak up, lad. Speak up.
Juror number 3. Do you see? Oh, me? See what, sir? Did you hear juror number 6's account of his birthday celebrations last year? It seems, despite being a Londoner, he once opened his windows in the middle of winter. Well, yes, of course, because of an emergency. I mean, obviously, if the room is full of smoke from a fire, then you'd be mad not to open the... Oh! Exactly. On the day in question, at the time of the incident, there was a fire in the Garrett household, and Mr. Garrett had the following to say about it. The whole place filled with smoke. Oh, my hat. Hey, lady. Do you have something to say? Juror number 4. Do you have something to say about that? How much tea does she have in that thing? Mrs. Garrett.
How dearie me! What is the meaning of this? How dare you imply that I'm hiding who I really am?
It's imperative that you confirm something for the court. So please, it's time to drop the pretense now.
What is it?
When the fire started in your house that day, did you or your husband open the window?
What? I beg your pardon? What are you insinuating?
The room would have been thick with smoke after the carpet and bookcase caught fire as they did. In a situation like that, it's inconceivable that you wouldn't have opened the window.
And what if we did? Oh, right then. Yes, you're right. My husband was frantically trying to open the window, which can't have been easy since I continued to give him a justly deserved book battering.
Even though your house was on fire?
Oh, you never stop throwing until the anger subsides. It would be terribly bad for the nerves to do otherwise.
Of course, I should have realized.
That's a significant step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. You managed to establish that the window was open. We simply must have added to Mrs. Garrett's formal statement.
Now you mention it, yes, the window's open. Can I still pit these guys against each other? Ooh, maybe pit them against each other. I don't know. Nope. Not music would have stopped. These two statements clearly contradict each other. I'm sorry, but as the foreman of the jury, I have to object. That's complete nonsense. What? I'm a banker, don't forget. An educated man. And there's no contradiction as far as I can see.
Quite so, Mr. Foreman. I will not permit a whimsical attack against the good members of the jury. Oh boy.
It's very important to listen carefully to every juror, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh wait, put them against each other. Right? Oh, what the frick? He said it might be open. She says it is open. Ah. Okay, how do you think about this? Can I just pit these guys against each other again? Oh, you're joking.
I don't know.
I don't know. Seems like jury number 5 doesn't have to say anything nice, anything good to say. Unless I pit him against... Nope. I don't know. I only got one more shot. I don't know. I don't know. Window's open. The window could have been open. That's it. I don't know. I don't have any more.
That will do. I believe we've seen quite enough here. According to the powers vested in me by Her Majesty the Queen, I declare no further examination necessary. As such, I shall be requesting the final decisions of the members of the jury. Are you all ready, Foreman?
Oh God.
Yuzai!
有罪
Yuzai!
有罪
Yuzai! Yuzai!
Yep. Can we just repeat? Retry from this scene. Yep. I don't know. Oh no, to do the whole thing again? Oh, damn. Alright, you know what? I think I'll leave this episode here. I honestly, after all that, I still don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Naruhodo did mention that there might be something we can do to this guy to kind of spur what he said. I don't know how we're gonna do that, but we'll see what happens. Can I present evidence? I can't. I can only pit them against each other. Okay, you know what? We'll figure it out in the next episode. I'm sure it'll come to me. Maybe I just need like a day to think about it, and then we'll see what happens. But for now, if you like what you see and you like what you hear, be sure to like, subscribe, and get that bell on so you stay up to date on all my latest videos. As always, be safe, take care, and I'll see you when I see you. Peace!